right, we're back.
Never ever meant to be so sour, baby. Running out of steam every day, be the same. Living like this, testing all my patience.
We're back after the break.
Just talking about Bella's, but
Sorry, I was on TikTok. Hold on.
Bella had started going on TikTok, which is unacceptable.
And do you know what? It's just full of Wicked.
Yeah, we've been loving Wicked, which is not relevant at all.
It's not relevant.
So my next one was The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks.
Oh, where she goes.
The girlies that know.
She loves these
the
sad
girlies
ones.
that know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't.
I'm
not seeing it. I've not read it.
like, anyone that has watched any of the other book reads, I hark on about this man because how is a man writing this book? And the funniest thing is that when I read whichever ones I read, and I was like, oh my god, like this is my favourite book ever. I was calling him Nicola because I was like, this must be a woman. Like,
How is this a man?
yeah. So this one actually I got and I was like, is it gonna be as good? Like it's got Zac Efron on the cover. I was like, oh.
It's not the best film out of them.
But oh my god, it like the start. I was reading the first.
Did you watch the film afterwards?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But the first chapter I read, I was like, not into this. And then it really gets good, and the characters are really cute. This one is basically about Zac Efron in the movie.
With the war.
Yeah, he finds this photo of a woman, and he thinks it like becomes his like lucky charm.
Yeah.
And then after
He's like,
he
I
leaves-
need to meet her if I
after he
survive,
leaves,
right?
like, the Marines or something, he like tracks her down, which yes is a
Psycho.
bit creepy, but it's
Stalker.
a book, so it's okay. And it's set in like a lovely southern town, like
So it's
that's
okay.
why I love him so much.
Stalking
I
is
think
okay,
because
'cause we're in a
shut
southern-
up. It's because he always sets his books in like
Really
gorgeous
gorgeous
American
places.
towns, and I'm just like,
Makes me
let
wanna
me
go,
live there,
let me go,
Nicholas,
let me go.
So yeah, that one got a 4 out of 5 actually, because I
That's
think
high.
but it just like went like that. Like I remember starting out being like,
I didn't have high hopes for that when he was like, should I read it? I was a bit like, okay.
because the cover looks crap, but
It
it's
does.
really, it is good.
Well, because it's the movie cover.
Yeah,
I
think
don't
I got
like
book
a movie cover. I think it's
I know,
wrong.
but I think I got it second hand because I'm
Oh no,
saving
not
the
you,
environment.
not you. I'm just saying. Don't.
Yeah.
Like they do it to grab you in. I get it.
And because then you connect it in your mind.
But I just don't like it anyway. Because it came first, just to say.
Yeah.
Next thing that I read was The Lovely Bones, which I saw as a play years ago, literally so many years ago, and I loved it, and I couldn't remember the full story.
Sorry.
But I knew it was a book, and when I saw it in a charity shop for like £1, I was like, right, let's do it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot more depressing,
In the book.
and yeah, than I
You
like,
remembered.
yeah, it was deep. Like, I thought, right, at one, it's because basically it's about a girl who gets murdered by a next door neighbour.
Oh.
And it's about her being dead in heaven, watching him hoping he gets caught.
Oh, that's
And he-
horrific. I don't
and
think
he-
I could deal with that.
It's really good though. And it's very, very real about family grief. I think that's why it hit so hard this year. Like it just, about like the mum and the dad and like their relationship, and like not wanting to admit that she's gone, and her sister being left behind without her.
Oh, that's really
And she's
sorry
watching
to
her
press
family
them.
grieve while they're still being half friendly to the neighbour, not knowing that he did it. But then the dad gets this gut instinct that he
Is
was
it a
the
film?
one. I think there is a film of it. I've not watched it.
Tucci, or is that just the same plot, different thing?
I don't know. There is a film. I've not watched it. But as a book, really good. Really enjoyed it. It was just a bit long. I thought it could have been like,
Whipped around a bit.
yeah, it just dragged a little bit, and it did get dark. But like,
Emotionally.
it got dark, but then there wasn't like drama. It like got dark and sort of ended.
Left you there.
I was a bit like, oh.
It left you there.
Like, yeah, like I really wanted him to like,
Get justice.
yeah, and an ice cold falls on him and he dies.
What the fuck?
No. Like he tries to go on.
No, what the hell? Why did you just take that and be like, you just like, oh. No!
Well, because
no,
No,
just
I
put
don't-
these people in prison, like right then
or like
prison.
getting murdered, not like some shitty icicle like came down and like stabbed him.
Oh Christ!
Do you know what I'm
did you
saying?
rate it? What did you rate that? No one's gonna read that now.
It's a really good story, everyone. Actually, do you know what? I gave up with the ratings by this
What
point.
would you rate
So I was
it based
powering.
off memory? Apart from that icicle shenanigan.
No, when you read it, it's
Makes
dramatic,
sense.
but like obviously saying it out loud sounds a bit silly. I'd probably say a 3
Okay, 3.
because I think the
Three
story
to be
is
better, but
yeah,
not
and
horrific.
he's so creepy. Like you hate him. Like he has planned this out. He is methodical. He is repeatedly doing it. Like
Mass murder.
yeah, no, it's
Serial
based on a serial killer. Like so, really good.
Okay. Right, my next read, very different, with the crawdads. I read this.
Do you know what? That is deeper than I thought it was
I
going
read
to be.
this
That
on holiday.
book.
Yeah, no, it's not light.
I
and
read it the year
cheery.
before.
Obviously, I'd read it a while after everyone else had gone crazy for it, but honestly, it was very good. I've rated it
told
4.
Francesca.
I rated it. I've rated it 4 out of 5.
Definitely. If
To
not
be fair,
more,
maybe
if not more.
But yeah, some of the characters are annoying, but I guess they're annoying for a reason. I can't really remember how it ends. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is kind of a good ending, but also it's like
a good ending.
yeah, it is a good ending. But I think I was
I like
mm,
the ending because you see them in years' time. You get like almost like an
she
epilogue.
finishes like, do you know what I mean?
She
doesn't
really
leave you
finishes her
hanging.
story.
But
which
I mean, sometimes there's a need for that, and sometimes there's not. But yeah, it was 4 out of 5. It was really good. The descriptive element, like where it was set,
You were just
beautiful.
there. You were there. I also thought the main character was a really good character, like really complex.
Yeah, it was a very strong heroine.
yeah.
Just a little side note, please don't waste your time watching the film. I never even finished it.
Is
It's
it rubbish?
utter crap.
I've not watched
And I
it.
felt bad because I do like Daisy Edgar Jones, but like
And she
it's
was in it? Was
horrific.
she her?
Yeah. It's-
Why was it bad?
I don't know, because I'd literally just read this and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And I was like,
Why is it bad though?
it's just so much.
like not
It
acted
just is
well,
like
or-
cringy. It looks weird. Her accent, I'm gonna be real, I could be wrong, but it felt like it was wrong. Like her American, like New Orleans accent was just felt really off.
And it's so annoying because it is a great story.
And also she's meant to be like living in the wild, looking crazy, and then
she
like
still
she's
looks
got her hair
polished.
curled and stuff, and you're like,
no,
she's
she
literally
should
living
look
in
like
a swamp.
a.
Like, the other thing that annoyed me as well with it, like if you've read it, you'll know that how like, you know, each of her siblings leave her. And I remember being really, really annoyed, and you were like, oh, it'll make sense, it'll make sense. But I personally didn't get I didn't understand all of their reasonings. Because for me, I was like, just take her with you. Do you
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
know
was
what
like,
you're saying.
we could have wrapped this book up 3 chapters in if one of them hadn't just abandoned, don't knock the thing.
Sorry.
Like, that, it's one of those books where it's like, there's little bits that niggled me. That's why I didn't get a 5 out of 5. But it was really good. So, yeah.
My next one was Did You Miss Me? Which was a book that you got from me.
Yeah, I just got it, I think I got it from
Garden
a
centre.
garden centre. I got a couple for Bella, just like, because they were on like, they were very cheap. And also, I think sometimes it's nice to read some stuff that isn't like a bestseller or something everyone else has read, you know? Because you have no idea what you're getting into.
I wasn't looking forward to it, but I was like, I've got it, let's read it. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was basically like a girl who'd moved to the city, like got a really great job, came back home for Christmas or whatever, and like she found herself like enjoying home more and realising
It's giving Hallmark movie.
it was good. It was a nice easy read. It was very like, it was like
cleanser.
find yourself, but like find where you go, like the reverse.
Yeah, finding
Because you
yourself
realise actually I'm
where
not
you
this
were
like
from.
glamorous city person. Like actually love going to the pub with my like dad and seeing her neighbours and
I like that.
do you know what I mean? And that she wasn't
A
actually
fresh take on the stereotype.
yeah, it was really good, and she fell in love like it was romantical.
Then the next book I read, I actually read on holiday, and this is
I'm on holiday
due
now.
to Bella's influence. It was a Karen Swan. It was The Spanish Promise. I don't think you're gonna get that. So it's the first Karen Swan book I've ever read, and Bella rates her extremely highly. It's one of Bella's favourite persons.
She's clever. She's a clever lady.
Whoa, I didn't know how to feel about her writing style and stuff.
Yeah.
She takes on so much.
She
like,
does.
Almost a
She
bit
does it
too
in full.
much. I rated it a 3.5, so I did enjoy it. It got a lot better, but it took me
I think
so
you just
long
needed to
get
adapt.
into it. Yeah, and it's not a writing style I would particularly say I enjoy, and I think that's where we do differ. Because she goes like, one thing that, oh my god, I was like, this woman, like me and you are gonna fight, because she'd like give you, she always, I don't know if she always does it, but like in
The
this she does
chapters,
the
you know,
present
yeah.
and then a past.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like one's like set in like years and years and years, like not the same people, and then one's set in the present time, completely different people.
Two
so
different
she'd set up
stories.
this story, you know, with the present people. She'd do something, and
You'd
it'd
be
be
really
like,
getting
oh my
into
god.
it.
The chapter would end, and then she's like,
Back to the
medieval
other story.
times. A man
And
walks
that
along.
does
And I'm
annoy
like,
me, but
I
when
don't
it
care.
comes together, it's
Yeah,
like...
when it comes together, it's fine. But I literally, the only
she
reason I
wasn't
didn't,
patient with
the only reason I honestly didn't abandon it was because Bella would have killed me, and also because I was in Tenerife without access to other books. Like if I'd have had maybe another book, or you weren't going to shoot me in the head,
I just
I'd
think
have probably
it's
left
such a a mature read. It is not
It's
made...
very much more like
it's
what
not
your mum
made
would
for
read.
teens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read another Bridgerton, my last one of the year, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Can't bloody remember which one that is. Oh yeah.
So it's Colin and Penelope.
It's Colin and Penelope.
Which I'm excited to read that one.
Yeah, it
so
was
I think
good.
that's great.
It was good.
Then my next book was actually the first reread I think I did all year, which is actually really good.
Oh, mine was this is the same book.
The next one.
Yeah.
Should we do it together?
So we
So
both
the next one,
read
it was-
Malibu Rising.
Yeah, Bella read it for the first time. I read it for maybe the second or third.
Because we was on holiday.
Yes.
We were book swapping,
and
that was it.
Taylor Jenkins Reid is like one of the people that really got me into reading, and I
I'd
still
never
really
read
like
her.
her. It's not like a Colleen Hoover situation where people like, ah, we're like people like, oh my god, I love you, and then now everyone hates her and are embarrassed. Like, no, I do think Taylor's really good, and she's a lot more sophisticated than when you put next to Colleen Hoover. Like, do you know what I mean? So I rated it 3.5. Obviously, that being a reread, because I think because I'd read it before, I knew what was coming, kind of thing. I think the characters are really good. I think the setting's really cool.
Yeah,
I think
I
the
love
ending's
the
kind of-
character relationships in that book.
That's what makes it.
That
It's kind of
what is
like
what makes it.
It's the characterization is the plot, because it's pretty much set within like 48 hours. So you don't get a
so
lot of like.
clever.
It is clever, and it's like one of those endings where you have to accept it for what it is. Like, you
Yeah,
can't be angry,
I
like-
was angry at the
because you're
ending.
expecting like, because it kind of sets it up to be like not a murder mystery, but it's a mystery as in like, oh, who done this thing.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for
Well,
it to
it's a
be this big
puzzle, isn't it?
conspiracy of, oh my god, it was him, like he did it, da, 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 when it actually sort of is like, oh,
and you're not left hating anyone either.
Yeah,
where
which
the
I
whole
think
book
is-
you're sort of hating
you're ready
people,
to hate people.
and then
It's
you
kind of
have to like
clever that-
surely be like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
it's kind of clever that she sort of fizzles everyone out.
Yeah,
It's like
which
that's
is it.
the design of the book is that
But it
the
feels a bit
character's
flat.
ready to just walk away, and she's done with being angry and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I recommend it. It's set in such a cool way, and also
Yeah,
the
it's a
thing
good
that's really
holiday
cool
read.
about Taylor Jenkins Reid is she connects the characters to other books, so it's not necessarily a series, but like
They're in the same
the names
world.
that come up in that come up in Daisy Jones, coming up in Carrie Soto, like different
Oh
books.
yeah, Carrie's in it, isn't she?
Yeah, so they came up in other books, which is really cool.
I gave
Would you
up with
say
the
it was
rating way back
I
this
sort of
one.
agree with the 3.5?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. My next one was The Spanish Love Deception, which our friend read on our last holiday, so I thought, I'll read this. I actually really enjoyed it. I can't really remember, honestly, I was speed reading through it on holiday, so I don't remember much.
Honestly, holiday was like less than 6 months ago, but oh my god, that
It feels like a year
3 years ago.
literally.
So much has happened.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I can't really
Go back and watch the
Do you know
freaking
what? I
Tenerife
just-
vlog if you
I
want
did
to know what we
enjoy
thought,
it.
because we can't
It
remember.
was a good holiday, like, a book. Like, she has to go to Spain for a family wedding and takes the man that she hates at work.
Yeah, they're not supposed to fall in love, are they? And
It
they
is
fall
good.
in
It's
love.
just a good, like,
Yeah.
romance. I'm not complaining.
She can't fault it right now.
No.
But like I said, if you want to really know what we thought,
Go back then. Go to
Because
the
we
real
will have
time.
talked in the vacation vlog last year. We will have talked about the books quite a lot.
Yeah.
Then I read these books. I'll do them
I'm trying to
together
look
because
at
I
this
read them
book.
back to back. But basically, I walked into Waterstones. I think I was buying some books for you for your birthday, and I couldn't help myself because I saw like a little stand and they were all on their own.
What's it?
And I read The Murder Game, and I'd never heard of it,
Oh, I don't
but
know
it was a
what that one is.
bestseller. It's by Tom Hindle. I'd recommend it to anyone that wants to get into sort of the sort of murder mystery whodunit sector of reading, because that's becoming one of my favourite. I honestly might challenge myself to start an Agatha Christie book this year, because it was so he was like, one of his like critics wrote him as the modern Agatha Christie.
Whoa.
So I read the first one, which is The Murder Game. Yeah, I read the first one, which was The Murder Game. I rated it 4 out of 5, and then I read yeah, because it was so good. And then I read
you reading these.
Then I read Murder on Lake Garda straight after. Literally, I think it was less than a week I read both of these.
Wow.
This one, the setting was so much cooler, but I only rated it 3 out of 5 because I think, I'm trying to remember why, but I think it was a bit more unrealistic. And it was set over I don't know, the first one just had like a je ne sais quoi. It was set on New Year's Eve. And what was so clever about the first one is these people have all gone to a murder mystery themed party.
My next one was Take a Chance on Me. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Well, anyway, it looks like a romance. Clearly, I'm going to be so real, clearly it can't have been that good if you can't remember it.
No, it was. Oh no, I remember now. No, because the book title didn't stick. No, this is the one I told you to read, because basically it's about a girl whose sister passes away at the start. This is not what it's about, but her sister passes away at the start and she was poorly her whole life. So she's grown up being the big sister, always looking after her, and she gives her a letter, like, as she's dying, because obviously she's got cancer, I believe.
Obviously.
And she doesn't open it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and everything goes, she has a really good job, everything goes wrong at work, like, she just can't cope, she won't admit it, but she needs help. She opens this letter, finally, and it's a one-way ticket to India for 2 weeks. And her sister has paid for it and organised for her to go. And it's something she would never do because she's like a control freak, but work have told her she's got to have time off because she's having like a mental breakdown. Like, she just can't cope because she's not grieved her sister.
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah, very similar. So she goes over there, meets this guy who's like very like, whoa, like the world, yeah, just like he is just like a nomad, like, and he has these dice and he rolls them every day. If it's an odd number, he moves to a different place, and then he has a list of all the different countries he rolls, which country rolls which part of the country. If he rolls an even number, he stays, so he can stay in a place for like a month or like a day and then go somewhere else, and you never know why, and they cross paths like 3 times. And then it comes back to reality when she moves back here, and I'm not going to spoil it, but for some reason he's back in the UK. It's really heartwarming. It's good. Heartwarming.
The next book I read was not heartwarming at all.
Oh my god,
it was The Virgin Suicides, which from the title you get everything you pretty much need to know. I was dying to read this. I asked for it for my birthday, and then I got to it in September, and oh my god, I think it took me I think it was like the only book I read like the whole month, because it was, they put effort into the characters, but it went literally nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the hardest book to describe ever.
Just they all died.
Yeah, so you
just sat depressed for 300 pages.
There's 5 sisters. I knew going into it they were all going to end up dead.
That's awful.
And it's about like the boys that knew that it's a massive comment on like misogyny and the way men look at women, because these boys like were in love with them and then are like looking back on them, but they can barely remember anything about them apart from their appearance and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And like one of the things in the book they talk about all the time is like how the boys like could barely distinguish them because they looked the same, but it's because they just looked at them rather than like knowing them. Do you know what I mean? But it's basically about their parents sort of neglected them and were quite abusive and stuff, so they like obviously hurt themselves and killed themselves because they were like mentally ill from the abuse and stuff. And the concept of like their deaths like in sort of like the way they designed it was really clever. And like there was elements of it that was like, it's almost like a dark, there's parts that it's almost like dark comedy, do you know what I mean? Like, because the way that the same paramedics come every time, and they stop, like one of the things is like they stop running, like the first time they turn up, they're like running, you know, they're making an effort to save her, and they do actually save her, but then by like the 5th time, they're just walking in because they know what they're going into, kind of thing. But it's a very symbolic book, and like now I'm talking about it now, I'm like,
I remember when you was reading it, you were just like,
because it left you with nothing. Like it took everything. You put your hope into it, and it just took it. I'd like to watch the film to see where it went, because I feel like Sofia Coppola would take the best parts of it. Because I'm glad that I read it. Like I was really glad that I'd done it.
I will read it.
But I gave it away afterwards. I was like, that's it, I'm done now. I probably won't reread, because
I didn't love it in
like
the moment.
One of them things where it's like you got the satisfaction out of knowing what happened to them, and then that's it. Like you don't get any sort of like woo.
My next one was an endless Cornish summer. So this was another book Francesca got me for my birthday. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was cute. It was very wholesome. It's set in a small, like, fishing village in Cornwall. And this girl goes... It's a really cool concept. Basically, she goes because she gets a blood transfusion from an unknown donor. It saves her life. She has really rare blood. And she goes to find him. All she knows is it's a young male, and she knows roughly where they're from. She goes to find him to basically thank him, because she wants to. And she finds these 2 brothers who she thinks they might be, and they work in a boating yard in Cornwall, and she falls in love with one of them, and she doesn't know if he's the one and if to tell him or not. It's also just like a really good story about like someone, like she's just finding a new life down there. She ends up falling in love with the place.
Sounds quite good.
Yeah, it was.
What else did you read after that?
Blood Orange was the next book I read, which was from a charity shop. It was about a woman, a lawyer, a female lawyer. It was her first like murder trial. Now at first I thought that's what it was going to be about, like the murder trial was like the main focus, but actually there was like another side story of her home life. She was basically like falling apart. She was like drinking lots, like smoking, she was having an affair, like you hated the main character almost, because she was having an affair. Like her husband thought she was like whining, an irresponsible parent. She was like having an affair with someone in the House of Commons, like who she was like a colleague person, and then she was working with the person she was having an affair with on this murder trial about a woman who was found over her really rich husband covered in blood. And she just admits it from the off that she did it, but they're defending her, so they're trying to find out of reasons why she did it, and she won't tell them. She's just like, I just did.
Okay, this sounds interesting.
So it was really interesting. I didn't get rid of it. I've definitely got it somewhere. It was really interesting because you're like frustrated with the wife. You're like, yeah, but you wouldn't just do that. You can see she's a broken person, and you slowly begin to she befriends her, and she begins to reveal pieces about the marriage and about her which begin to make sense, and then at the end there's a massive plot twist, and the ending is phenomenal. So it's really good because it's like a double mystery then, because it's about her marriage and also this woman's murder story.
The next 3 books that I read were 1, 2 and 3 of the Harry Potter series. I've had these books for a while, and I was like ready to start them. It was coming up to Christmas, so I was like, it's perfect time. I thoroughly enjoyed them. So the first one I rated 3.5.
I also read the first one. That's one of my next books. So
I rated it 3.5 because I really did enjoy it. It felt quite childish, but
but it was comforting.
But not I think the film felt more childish than the book did.
I felt it was nostalgic. I quite enjoyed it.
But then the point I've said that I rated that 3.5 is because the second and the third I rated both 4.
Really?
Because immediately after moving from Philosopher's Stone to Chamber of Secrets,
it levels up.
You're like, whoa!
See, I've
she's
only read
took
the
it to the next level. and I was like, right, I'm really gonna like, because you could easily leave it after this.
I did. I only read the first one. I didn't
like
read
the second
anymore.
one, you're like, wow, like it's like boom, the chamber's open, like all that.
Cam
like,
says it's the best one.
It's really good. And then I read the third one, which this is one of my favourite films.
Yeah.
The book is really good. I think some of the other books will be better, but it is. I like
Film 4 is my favourite, so I'll be
the
interested
whole
to
sort
see.
of last section of it. What really like it all comes together, with like obviously it's a very well known story, so I'm sure I'm not spoiling it for anyone, but like it comes together, with Sirius Black sort of. We find out why, and the whole he goes back in time, that kind of thing. So it's like a lot of setup for the second half, but it's still just as good. But I would say that the second book is maybe a bit.
Cam says the second book is the
I
best.
don't think it'll be the best out of them all for me.
Yeah,
but
it's really well
I'm really
written.
enjoying it.
The next two I read was the Karen Swan collection that I'm reading at the minute, which is called The Wild Isles. The Stolen Hours, the last summer. I'm currently reading the third one, which is The Lost Lover. These are really good, like really, really good. I thought after the first one, the second one wouldn't get any better, but it was equally as good, and it's about 3 girls that are best friends. It's based on the true story is, it's a tiny island off Scotland. They live a very remote life. It's like in the early 1900s. And they basically get they write to government and ask for an evacuation because it's too hard to live on this island. They've lived there for like thousands of years and it's just too hard, like they can't cope. And it's a real story about these people that wrote to the government. The government like accept it, put it through, and the whole island gets evacuated to mainland Scotland, and no one's ever lived on there again. Like it is basically inhabitable. And the island's called what's it bloody called? Oh my god, is it on there? St Kilda. So that's the real part, that's the truth. And then Karen Swan's done all the research and made a story about them, about the evacuation. And it's about these 3 girls that equally have like a different romantic story. And the trouble of like living on the island and the crossover and then finding a new life afterwards.
Sounds really interesting.
But it's like got a murder mystery element to it as well as romance.
Wow. See, that's what I was saying, she takes on a lot.
Yeah, it is really good. Like there's bits, I'm on the 3rd book and there's bits now, they'll have like a conversation that I read in the first book, but I'm reading it from the other point of view now.
Yeah, it's one
so it's
read.
adding
It's each
up.
one set in a different person's perspective.
Yeah, I read them too, the first 2.
How many more have you got?
And then the last 2 books I've read of this year is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the second...
Look at that.
I know. Do
The
you
way
know, it
it's
had a
expanded.
leakage. No, something spilt on it in my bag and I was honestly devastated because my books don't look like that, do they? And literally, it just looks like it's been in a fight.
She's pregnant.
Literally, so ignore that, but that's the cover. Guy in Waterstones told me I would really like it. It is like a fan fiction of Gilmore Girls in a way.
Really?
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I can't even tell you. Like it was.
Is it actually a fan fiction?
Yeah, it is. So she's called Laurie Gilmore. She's called
Is
herself
that a handle? Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of like,
for-
what is it called? The thing where they write their ghost, like
Yeah, like a
What's the name?
ghostwriter.
the fake name. They
Yeah.
use. What is that?
Look,
It'll come to me.
So it's basically about this woman that moves from out of town, takes over her auntie's cafe called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and falls in love with
Obviously.
the grumpy farmer.
Obviously. Let's give it
And
a Hallmark.
he's like, wears like flannel shirts. Luke Danes, here we come. Right?
God.
Is that kind of vibe. It's really good. I love it. It's not even cringy. It's just cute. It's really wholesome. And I've just finished the second one, which is about, so it's all set in this town called Dream Harbour. So do you know what I mean?
Wait, what's it called? Stars Hollow.
Dream Harbour. See, do you see what I mean? So this one's set in the book in
Dream
the cafe.
Harbour's not even a good town name.
I know.
Like, oh, where do you live? Dream Harbour.
And
Shut
they call
up.
themselves dreamers.
Ew. Ew, I don't like that.
No, it's really good though. It is really good. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a joke.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is the first one. It's set in the cafe. The second one is called the Cinnamon Book Club, and that's set in the bookstore, and it's about so there's quite a few characters now, you know, quite a few people, you know. There's Miss Patties, and no, there isn't actually, but you know what I'm saying. And the second one is about a girl called Grace who's in this. So it goes from this directly into Cinema Bookstore. And it's called that because they every Wednesday they have like cinnamon buns and read like with the book club. It's really cute. And she falls in love with the fisherman. And the next one I haven't read is Christmas Tree Farm. That's the one that we got for Sarah.
So does she need to read them to understand it?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I think she should read these anyway.
God. Right. So, very wholesome.
Very
vibes.
wholesome. So they're the last 2 books
What
I've
do we
read
rate
this
them,
year.
do you think, out of a 5? Quick.
4.
Wow. Really?
They're everything I like.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
That's what you've got to
everything I
remember.
like.
The ratings aren't official, like, film rating.
They're
what
personal.
it's about, yeah, it's opinionated. The last 2 books of the year that I read were Duke of I and... No, The Duke and I. Sorry, not The Duke of I. The Duke
of York. Which is the first Bridgerton.
So,
to
The Duke
everyone
and
else.
I, which is the first Bridgerton. And
York.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't.
And then The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is Bridgerton number 2.
Bridgerton.
Can you tell we're getting tired now? It's literally dark outside. Yeah, so I read the first 2 Bridgertons. The first one I actually was like
You was not excited for it, right?
No, I was expecting for it to be a cringe ball, like a cheese ball, cringe fest, whatever you want to call it. And I was like reading it like smiling, like, and I was like, oh, it's like giggly, kick your feet vibes, like, you know,
Kick your feet.
you know, like when you lay on your back and like kick your feet, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's really cute, good. The first one, like, that's got like an element of the drama, you know, with his storyline. The second one, I find the drama level of, you know, him being scared of bees a little bit less realistic.
Oh yeah.
That I'm a bit like, Anthony, please, like,
He just thinks
get
he's going
over
to die,
it kind of
doesn't he,
thing.
basically.
But I still like the love story of it.
I think it's more dramatic, the series, because they focus it more on the
there's
sisters.
only really there's only really one scene where he embarrasses himself by like being like, no, but then also like you kind of do get it because obviously it's like a period piece, so they don't know anything about medicine and
Yeah, and his
blah,
dad
blah, blah, blah.
did die of it.
His dad did die. Yeah.
His dad did die.
Anyway, so I've read the first 2. I've got up to 4 or something.
Well, I got for Christmas off this lady the rest of the Bridgertons.
Yeah, I got her 5 to
So
9.
it's kind of a present to herself because she knows she's going to end up using
well, maybe,
it.
maybe not.
What,
Yeah,
you're just
I've
going to not
got them
read
for
them?
you mostly. And I've got Queen Charlotte as well with me at uni, so I'm probably going to get round to that. But I do want to prioritise Harry Potter while we're in the winter seasons.
Yeah, she can't
because
read that in the
Bridgerton is a
summer.
very spring-summer book.
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you agree?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's
Okay.
where I'm up to. I read 20, you read 25, 26. And my goal for this year, I'm just going to stick it at what it was. So my goal was 25 and I didn't reach it. So I think if I stick it again for 25, then I'm working towards what I should have achieved this year. I think that's a good
Yeah, for
idea.
sure.
You need to set yours to more realistic heights this year, not 13. Yours needs to be like 28.
I don't know if to read 25 again because obviously this year I want to push myself with non-fiction and classical,
really
which
true.
will slow me down. I can't read 4 in a month like I'm doing with my
You've
fiction.
got a lot of classical literature.
My
to
goal
read.
for this year, it's one of my New Year's resolutions, but it's book related, so hold on, is to read everything I already have. That is terrifying.
She's got a lot of books.
I've
Which
got
means
lots of
stop
books.
buying new books.
I'm not
read
going to
what you've
buy
got.
any new books unless it's with a book voucher that I have been bought by someone else.
Last year I set myself a goal of trying to read 5 non-fiction. I read 1. So I'm
Mine
just
was
going
to
challenge
read
myself.
3 and I only read 2.
Because I've read 1 this year, I'm going to just double it, read 2. Okay, because that's achievable.
I'm going to try and read 5 because I did 3 this year.
That's good. I'm going to just say 2, and I want to read another celebrity. Well, it doesn't have to be a celebrity, but I want to read another biography because I find them interesting to learn
I've
about
got
another
loads
person's
as well, so you
life.
can use one of ours.
But I think the issue with non-fiction is you have to find something you're actually interested in, whether it's whatever it is, because it's like there's no point trying to read something really hard hitting if you're not into that. Do you know what I mean? Like the Britney Spears biography is not necessarily hard hitting. It's not like a non-fiction on the Civil War, but it's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, so I've got a lot on like self-help, or like I've got one about the female body.
Another one of our, we were just speaking about this, resolutions in general for the channel is to revive, well, we always say this, we do this all the time, but we're going to revive the bookshelf. And you might not even know what I'm on about, but basically, the videos that we do that are to do with books, we have named
kind
it
of videos.
The Bookshelf. They're just connected as a series. They're all about books. They're all about reading. They're about goals. They're a place where people that like to read and
chat,
books, or people that just want to listen to us chat shit for a while,
even if we're in the background.
Yeah,
if one person picks up a book because of one of our videos, that would just make my day.
Happy.
Literally make my day.
This is gonna be the first episode of the Bookshelf of this year, but it's actually maybe the fourth.
So we have got, if you go on our YouTube, we've got a playlist
for the Bookshelf,
and you can go watch the ones.
So we're gonna be adding to that hopefully this year. That's what we've been setting ourselves a goal of, to be adding.
We did
to
do some previous and current read.
We're gonna be doing another one of those.
So we're gonna do another one of them in a couple of months when we've got some new books to talk about.
But hopefully this has satisfied the book lovers that we know, those that are out there and that watch some of our videos.
Or even just giving you an inspiration of what book to read this year.
Yeah, or if you just like to listen to books, like, or you know, whatever. So yeah, Happy New Year, guys.
Enjoy
read a book
reading
or watch a film, do something that you like, and we'll see you next time, probably in a vlog.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Never ever meant to be so sour, baby. Running on a steam every day, be the same. Living like this, testing all my patience. Need a bit of you every time I drink, like a